The boxing world is abuzz with anticipation for the colossal showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, a fight that promises to be one of the most significant in recent memory. The narrative surrounding this matchup is layered with pride, legacy, and financial stakes, as both fighters bring their unique strengths and motivations to the ring. Canelo, a seasoned champion with a storied career, faces Crawford, a pound-for-pound elite moving up in weight to challenge the Mexican superstar. The discourse surrounding the fight is rich with perspectives from fighters, trainers, promoters, and analysts, each offering insights into what could make this clash a defining moment in boxing history. Canelo Alvarez, a name synonymous with dominance in modern boxing, has made it clear he's unfazed by Crawford's credentials or his training camp, which includes none other than Floyd Mayweather. In a fiery response to questions about Mayweather's involvement with Crawford, Canelo dismissed any concerns, emphasizing his lifelong experience in the ring. He's fought everyone, from welterweights to light heavyweights, and he's not intimidated by Crawford's reputation or the fact that he's moving up from a lighter division. Canelo's confidence stems from his extensive resume, having faced top-tier opponents across multiple weight classes and securing world titles in 4 divisions. His assertion that he's ready for anyone, regardless of their size or preparation, reflects a mindset forged through years of battles against the best in the sport. Eddie Hearn, Canelo's promoter, has provided deeper insight into his fighter's mentality as the fight approaches. According to Hearn, Canelo's pride is a driving force. Losing to a smaller fighter like Crawford, who's jumping up 2 weight classes, would be a significant blow to Canelo's legacy. The financial incentives for this fight are enormous, with the potential for a massive payday in Saudi Arabia, where high-profile bouts have become increasingly common. Hearn notes that while the money is a factor, Canelo's determination to protect his reputation is equally important. He's not underestimating Crawford, recognizing the challenge posed by a fighter of his caliber. Instead, Canelo is training with intensity, aware that a loss to a smaller opponent could overshadow his accomplishments as one of boxing's greats. The size difference between Canelo and Crawford is a recurring theme in discussions about the fight. Canelo, who typically fights at 168 pounds, has a natural advantage in strength and power. Crawford, moving up from 154 pounds, faces the challenge of overcoming this physical disparity. However, Hearn and others believe Canelo's experience against larger opponents, combined with his durability, could tilt the scales in his favor. Still, Hearn acknowledges Crawford's skill set, particularly his movement and ring IQ, which could make the fight competitive. The question is whether Crawford can use his technical prowess to neutralize Canelo's physical advantages over 12 rounds. Floyd Mayweather's involvement adds another layer of intrigue. Mayweather, who defeated a younger Canelo in 2013, has thrown his full support behind Crawford, serving as a mentor and training partner. During their sessions, Mayweather has been effusive in his praise, calling Crawford the best boxer in the world today. His confidence in Crawford isn't just lip service, it's rooted in their work together, where Mayweather has observed Crawford's discipline and attention to detail firsthand. Mayweather's endorsement carries weight, given his own undefeated record and his history of outclassing Canelo with superior strategy and ring intelligence. Reflecting on that fight, Mayweather noted that he entered the ring significantly lighter than Canelo, who rehydrated to nearly 170 pounds after making the 152-pound catchweight. Yet, Mayweather controlled the bout with ease, relying on timing, distance, and defense rather than brute force. His experience serves as a blueprint for Crawford, suggesting that brains can triumph over brawn. Mayweather's comments about Canelo have stirred controversy. He downplayed the difficulty of their 2013 fight, describing Canelo as an easy opponent and questioning the hype surrounding him. While acknowledging Canelo's status as a great fighter, Mayweather's remarks reflect his belief that Crawford, with his elite skill set, can replicate that success. He argues that Canelo lacks the unpredictability of truly elite fighters, making him vulnerable to a tactically superior opponent. These comments, while provocative, underscore Mayweather's faith in Crawford's ability to pull off what many see as an upset. Crawford, for his part, has taken a more measured approach when discussing Mayweather. He's expressed admiration for the boxing icon, emphasizing that he's not driven by a desire to surpass Mayweather's 50-0 record. Crawford's focus is on carving out his own legacy, not chasing comparisons or rivalries. When asked if he's ever sized up Mayweather in a hypothetical fight, Crawford dismissed the idea, calling it grimy, and emphasizing his respect for Mayweather's contributions to the sport. This humility contrasts with the bravado often seen in boxing, highlighting Crawford's grounded perspective as he prepares for the biggest challenge of his career. Trainer Stephen Edwards, who has worked closely with Crawford, believes his fighter's adaptability will be key against Canelo. Edwards highlights Crawford's high boxing IQ and ability to make in-fight adjustments, particularly in the later rounds. While Canelo may have the edge in power, Edwards argues that Crawford's stamina, agility, and longer reach could give him an advantage as the fight progresses. He dismisses concerns that Crawford will be overwhelmed by Canelo's size, suggesting that Crawford's ability to stay sharp and read opponents will keep him competitive. Edwards believes the early rounds are where Crawford must be cautious, as Canelo's power could catch him if he's not careful. However, in the later rounds, Crawford's conditioning and ring generalship could turn the tide. Veteran promoter Bob Arum has mixed feelings about the matchup. While he recognizes the spectacle of two elite fighters colliding, he's expressed concerns about Canelo's recent performances. Arum points out that Canelo hasn't displayed the same energy or entertainment value in the past 2 years, suggesting he may be more motivated by financial gain than passion for the sport. In contrast, Arum sees Crawford as a fighter with something to prove, stepping up in weight to cement his legacy. This dynamic, Arum argues, makes Crawford the hungrier fighter, even if Canelo's experience and physicality pose significant challenges. Boxing journalist Dan Rafael views the fight as a boon for the sport. Beyond the pay-per-view numbers, the matchup generates excitement and draws in casual fans who might otherwise overlook boxing. Rafael sees it as a rare clash of two champions from different divisions, each bringing unique strengths to the table. However, he questions whether Crawford can hurt Canelo, given the latter's historically durable chin. Rafael recalls an early fight where Canelo was rocked by Jose Miguel Cotto, but notes that he hasn't been visibly hurt since, even against powerful punchers. Crawford's slick boxing and punching power at lower weights are undeniable, but Rafael wonders if they'll translate against a sturdy 168-pounder like Canelo. Still, he acknowledges Crawford's competitive spirit, noting that unlike some of Canelo's recent opponents, Crawford will come to fight, not just collect a paycheck. Renowned analyst Teddy Atlas is firmly in Crawford's corner, pushing back against critics who question his decision to move up in weight. Atlas argues that Crawford's footwork, ring IQ, and defensive skills are more than enough to handle the transition. He points to Crawford's history of unifying titles in 3 weight classes, lightweight, junior welterweight, and welterweight, as evidence of his greatness. Atlas flips the narrative, asking whether Canelo can handle a smaller, faster, and slicker opponent like Crawford. While acknowledging Canelo's size and punching power, Atlas believes Crawford's ambition and talent make him a legitimate threat, regardless of the weight disparity. Crawford's coach, Brian "Bomac" McIntyre, has also addressed skeptics who've downplayed Crawford's resume. He argues that Crawford's opponents were highly regarded before facing him, only appearing normal after Crawford dismantled them. McIntyre emphasizes that Crawford has never relied on weight advantages or questionable tactics, always seeking to prove himself against the best. The fight against Canelo, in McIntyre's view, is the ultimate test of Crawford's pound-for-pound abilities, and he's confident his fighter will rise to the occasion. The debate over Canelo's toughest fights often centers on his bouts against Floyd Mayweather and Gennady Golovkin, GGG. Comparing these to a potential fight with David Benavidez or even Crawford himself adds another layer of intrigue. Against Mayweather in 2013, Canelo was a young, rising star who was outclassed by a master technician. Mayweather's defensive wizardry and strategic brilliance made the fight look one-sided, though Canelo's youth and inexperience were factors. The Golovkin fights, particularly the first in 2017, were far more competitive. Golovkin's relentless pressure and power tested Canelo's chin and resilience, resulting in a controversial draw in their first meeting and a narrow decision in Canelo's favor in the rematch. Many argue the Golovkin fights were tougher due to GGG's size, power, and aggressive style, which forced Canelo to dig deep. However, the hypothetical matchup with Benavidez, a young, undefeated super middleweight, presents a different challenge. Benavidez's size, speed, and volume punching could trouble Canelo, especially at this stage of his career. Some speculate Canelo might avoid Benavidez, as a loss to a younger, bigger fighter could tarnish his legacy. Similarly, the Crawford fight carries risks due to the narrative of a smaller man moving up. If Crawford outboxes Canelo, it could echo Mayweather's dominance, raising questions about Canelo's adaptability against elite technicians. The financial and legacy implications of the Crawford fight are immense. For Canelo, a victory solidifies his status as one of boxing's all-time greats, proving he can handle a pound-for-pound king even late in his career. A loss, however, could fuel narratives that he's past his prime. For Crawford, a win would be a career-defining achievement, placing him among the sports legends for conquering a bigger, established champion. A loss, while damaging, wouldn't erase his accomplishments, given the weight disadvantage. As the fight approaches, the boxing world is divided. Some see Canelo's experience and physicality as insurmountable, while others believe Crawford's speed, IQ, and hunger could lead to an upset. The involvement of Mayweather, the insights from trainers and promoters, and the broader impact on the sport all add to the anticipation. This clash isn't just about belts or money, it's about pride, legacy, and the chance to make history in the ring. Whether Canelo retires after this fight, as some speculate, or continues to chase challenges like Benavidez, one thing is certain: this bout will be a spectacle that defines the state of boxing in 2025.